America looks for in a friend, or values America looks for in itself to the highest standards of democracy, including freedom and tolerance and
Albanians,
justice.
with 3 of them possibly brothers. Sources say they intended to, and I quote, kill as many soldiers as possible. And that's a quote that bears repeating. Investigators said the group discussed targeting numerous locations, including Dover Air Base, Fort Monmouth, and several Coast Guard stations, this before deciding on Fort Dix as their intended target. The men were arrested while trying to buy AK-47 assault rifles from an arms dealer who was secretly cooperating with the FBI. Not clear now how far along the men were with actually implementing their deadly plot. All had reportedly lived in the U.S. for some time. The documents in this case do remain sealed, but we expect to learn a great deal more at a 2:30 news conference. And one ironic twist to all this, although Fort Dix is a major training and mobilization center for reserve soldiers as well as the National Guard, in 1999 it was used to house refugees.
Kosovo committed itself to the highest standards of democracy, including freedom and tolerance and justice for citizens. America looks for in a friend, or values America looks for in a friend.
Were of Albanian descent, and they're suspected of being Islamic fundamentalists. Their attack was in the planning stages, reportedly 17 months along, but the attack was not considered imminent. According to the White House spokesman Tony Snow, it does not appear as though their plans were being directed from any international terrorist organization. One of the men is a U.S. citizen, 2 have been living here legally, but 3 of the plotters and their brothers are illegal immigrants. Our next guest believes their immigration status is a key lesson of this bust. Joining me now is Republican Congressman from Colorado and presidential hopeful Tom Tancredo. Congressman, thanks for coming on.
It's a pleasure as always.
So isn't the lesson here that their religion, their perverted brand of Islam, that's the threat?
6 men, 4 of them from former Yugoslavia, were arrested last night on charges they plotted to attack the Fort Dix Army base in New Jersey and kill as many soldiers as possible. Those were their words. The suspects appeared in court today and were described by the FBI as Islamic radicals. Are these people, what was their motivation? Were they angry about our action in Kosovo? A lot of them come from the former Yugoslavia. They're Islamic. I thought we were on their side in that war. We were looking out for them. They should be grateful to us. Were they just stupid?
No question that these guys were radicalized. They were caught in terms of the possessions with the last will and testament of 2 of the 9/11 hijackers, pictures of bin Laden, and sort of calls to holy war and jihad.
What were these men up to?
Well, there's no question, Chris, they weren't just talking. They were training. They were trying to acquire advanced weapons, AK-47s and M16s. They had done surveillance and were talking about targets not only at Fort Dix, but also Dover Air Force Base and the Philadelphia Coast Guard Station.
We don't know whether it was driving them was Iraq. We don't know whether it was Saudi Arabia, our deal over there. We don't have any idea, do we? And you don't have any idea what made them want to commit. It was a suicide attack, right?
Well, no, it's not clear. They thought that they could go in and kill as many U.S. soldiers as they could, but we don't know enough yet from the complaint as to whether or not they thought it would be a suicide mission. That's not clear.
But according to the reports, they were studying and being influenced by these suicide videos of the people who attacked us 9/11.
That's right, absolutely.
Do you believe, as a presidential hopeful, as someone running for the Republican nomination, that we ought to intentionally restrict immigration from countries that have a high incidence of Islamic extremism?
Yes, I do. It's ludicrous to me that we have been so lax, and what is it going to take? Is it when one of these guys does, in fact, get the job done, will then somebody care about the issue of borders? I hope we don't win this issue on the basis of an incident. I know it's a very controversial thing, But, you know, you also have to look at what's happening in the rest of the world. Look what's happening in Europe.